All right, good morning everybody. So I want to show you how to add on some of these little like ridges and stuff, and then I'm also going to show you how to start carving some of these lines. So the first thing I want to show you is how to add on kind of those little ridges on there. So I've already started a few. I need to add some on there. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little coil that I've scored, and then you can just use a needle tool for this, but for the sake of time in the video. And sorry for the lighting. Normally I try to do videos at my house, but where the lighting's better. But hey, I'm at work today, so this is what it looks like in here. And that's okay. So once you've scored that on there, make sure you score really good, multiple directions, slip it like a dewdrop fairy. So just kind of, you know, just kiss it. Now we're gonna stick this coil on, and if you have any extras, you just kind of swoop it off, right? Because it comes off really easy. Do not add any more water. You really just want that tiny little bit of water. And anytime your hand starts to get slippery from the water, you want to wipe it off. So usually I wear an apron just so I can wipe it off on an apron, because I don't know, that's what I do. But if you would rather have a paper towel sitting next to you, that's totally fine. But so what I'm doing is I'm using about half the coil. Like, I'm not sticking my finger all the way over the coil, but I'm using about half the coil, and I'm blending it one way like that. And anytime, like I said, anytime my finger gets wet, I'm wiping it off. I'm gonna go one way, go all the way to the bottom. That one's still a little wet from the previous coil. That's okay, just smooth it back out again. And if you end up with a bunch of extra clay, you just kind of swoop, pop it off. And try to blend it in at the bottom. And if you have to go back every so often with a clean finger and touch up the coil before it, that's okay. But we're gonna get it halfway, and then we're gonna do same thing on the other side. And like I said before, if your finger gets wet, just wipe it off, because trying to smear wet stuff around just looks messy, right? And do not add any extra water. I know I've said this in all the other videos too, but it always bears repeating, because every year I have at least 3 students who try. They're like, oh, well, if I just put a little water on it, look, it smoothed it out. And then they're all upset the next day because it broke. So no extra water, only the water from slipping and scoring, only the score and slip water, okay? That's the only water you want on here. So once you have it, you're just kind of smoothing out the shape a little bit with your finger, and then check your previous ones too, because sometimes, like, you know, those can be, if those are still a little bit wet when you do the next one, then, you know, they might need a little detail too. And it's the same thing as you go along. All these ones should kind of come towards the point at the end. Like this one will still kind of go along here. It'll be a little bit shorter. So sometimes it stops about here. Sometimes they do come all the way across. It just kind of depends on how far. And then on the shorter side, they stop here, right? So like this one would stop here. So when they get kind of shorter and smaller, using a smaller coil can help to make the size, you know, match what you're working on. And when you get up towards the very top, instead of actually carving, like instead of adding stuff on, you can actually kind of carve away from the edge. So like if you wanted to, you could take I would recommend a loop tool, but you could put like a little mark on here on either side, and then you could scoop a little bit of the clay away from this area and then blend that with your finger. So it looks like stuff got added on, but it didn't actually get added on. Try to keep your tool clean as much as you can. Whenever you get these little clay boogies, just wipe them off on your hand. Because really, when they get all the way up here, they're not going to be that big. So as long as you have like a little bit of a suggestion of a bump right there, then it should be fine. Oh, it's hard to keep that in focus when I'm trying to poke at it with my finger. But that's how you add on the ridges. All right, thanks everybody.